Hey guys, my name's Jake Adler. I'm a producer, artist, and recording engineer with over 14 million streams across platforms. I've worked as a recording engineer in studios that have produced over 7 Grammy Award-winning albums, and today I'm going to share with you the Grammy Award-winning vocal chain that I used in those studios.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me why I'm burning bars like an ashtray. You would think that life be better in the fast lane.
Now for the Grammy-winning chain, the majority of plugins I use on the lead chain are Waves plugins. I swear by these plugins. I pay $24.99 a month for full access to the Waves collection, or you can pay a full flat-out fee. Now, to kick off the chain, I start with a classic Waves de-esser. This is to take away a lot of the harsh sibilants on the S's in the mix.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me why I'm burning.
Moving on, we have our standard curvature EQ that I have tuned for my vocal set. Now, the EQ is going to vary dependent on the vocal, depending on how much high end we want past the 10K range, a boost at the 1K, but typically my standard advice for a vocal EQ is rolling off right around the 100 Hertz mark, boosting at 1000 Hertz, and then boosting from 10,000 Hertz to 18,000 Hertz. And this is what you get without.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy.
And this is what you get with.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic.
Now we're going to be using a lot of compressors within this chain. The first compressor that I use is a classic Ableton glue compressor. This is because I've recorded a lot of vocal doubles and standard vocal takes that I want to compress together. So I'm going to use a glue compressor to really squish these vocals together into a smaller, fuller bodied vocal.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me why.
Next up in the chain, we've got another compressor. We've got the Pug Tech EQP1A compressor. Now, I actually don't adjust this compressor at all. I just like the raw analog emulation that it brings to the chain. So we can listen without.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask.
And now with.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never.
Next up, we've got another compressor. We've got the Rvox Compressor. This is a classic in the Waves collection. Some people are going to hate me for this. I swear by using presets. There are engineers that are much better than I am at vocal production and vocal engineering, so why not use the presets that they've provided and using their expertise? So for this one, I'm using a lead vocal preset from artist Chris Basford. So you can see lead vocal, and I haven't really adjusted anything besides the gate to filter out some extra noise here. So let's listen with.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic.
Without.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never.
Next up, we've got, guess? Yep, another compressor. We're using the MV2 compressor, and this one we're going to be squashing the track to bring out our peak volume of the track. So again, I'm just using squash here, which is a standard preset, and I'm just going to squash it. I adjust to make sure my levels are right.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me why.
Now this next plugin is one of my favorites in the chain. This is the CLA Vocals by Chris Lord-Alge. This is a really versatile plugin that allows you to use effects and boost frequencies in different ranges using a special set of tools that Chris Lord-Alge produced himself. So you can see we can up and lower the sub, lower and upper lower frequencies, add bite, top, and roof frequencies, push another compressor. We've got tight, large, and chamber reverbs, quarter, 8, and slap delays, as well as boosting stereo, wide, or speaker width. Now, I don't use a preset for this one. I just like to mess around and find something that works for me. I found that I like to just do a little bit of boost on the low and bite side. I do a tiny little boost on the compressor here. I add a bit of room for a tight reverb just to add some space. A bit of a slap delay. This is my go-to slap delay. And then I add a tiny bit of stereo width, which ends up sounding like this.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask.
So this is without.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic.
This is with.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me.
Next up in the chain, we've got another de-esser. This is the RDS by Waves. This is something that I like to do to catch any sibilance that's come out while we've been producing within the vocal chain since the beginning of the chain. So here I use S Be Gone, which is a preset by Sterling Winfield here, and you can listen to it here.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me why I'm burning bars like an ashtray.
It's subtle, but it's something that you hear when you end up going through mastering. Finally, up here in the chain, I've got a compressor. This is a Sidechain Compressor that I compress to the instrumental track because I want to add that wave-like sound coming through the entire lead vocal.
Goddamn angel, Nashville classic. Think it's crazy that you never thought to ask me. Burning bars like an ashtray. You would think that life be better in the face.
Finally in the chain, we've got our external routed bus effects. These are the effects over here, the right-hand side, that are externally routed from our external bus back into our lead bus with our lead vocal, so we can add incremental values of these effects without overloading the CPU or saturating our main vocal chain with these effects. Now, I use all different types of effects. It's really up to your discretion what you like to use, but in my case, to most of my tracks, I add short reverbs, short delays, long delays. I add a doubler, and then I add a couple of different spicy things like a Maserati expander here. This is something that adds a little bit of extra sensitivity, compression, and treble output. Thanks so much for tuning in today and learning about this Grammy award-winning vocal chain. If you want to learn more music tips and tricks to take your music to the next level, be sure to like and comment on this video, and be sure to subscribe to my channel.